Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, I give you BVO.
Oh, we boxing? Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know, shoot a video, put it on BVO. Let them know, every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO, bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know, I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show, this is BVO.
On behalf of BVO Boxing TV, we would like to thank our sponsor, Raycon. Don't forget to grab your Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the perfect bass model for premium sound, with active noise cancellation to block out distractions and transparency mode to keep you aware of your surroundings. They're ideal for your everyday needs. Just visit rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com and elevate your listening experience.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy, BBO Sports TV. We back with another brand new show. We got a lot to talk about. One of my favorite topics, and we're talking about family. What's more important to you, having a family or having money? I think a lot of people will say having money is more important than having a family. I would totally disagree with that. Because I think there's nothing in this world that can outdo family. When you have family, it's nothing more beautiful than being able to see your children grow, see your relationship grow. So we see a lot of things in the tabloids, man. Salute to my brother. In the tabloid, Bud Crawford recently, who I thought he was married all this time. He was never married. Him and his longtime girlfriend split.
You went out, BVO. Yeah, we can't hear you if you're talking. You gotta go out and come back in. I don't know what happened with BVO. His mic went out, but shout out to everybody at BVO Sports Talk. We live again, and I know BVO was talking about what's more important, family or fame. You back, BVO?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, you go. Go
Okay.
ahead and finish what you were saying.
No, I was saying we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that's we're talking about family and how important family can be. We recently seen the tabloids where Terrence Crawford is no longer with his longtime girlfriend, who I thought actually was his wife, but wasn't his wife, is his longtime girlfriend. We see them splitting up, and I was asking you, I said, what do you think, man? What would you rather have, money, or would you rather have your family? What's more important to you?
I mean, it's always family over money, because money comes and go. Family is forever. That's what you leave behind. You don't leave money behind. When the money gets spent up. You don't leave money behind. You leave your legacy behind, and your legacy is your family. People always that's why men want to have sons, because they want to carry that name on for the eternal. They want to continue to carry that name on.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have daughters so they can nourish the children,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to have women to make the babies, but they want that son. Every man wants that son to carry his name on.
Mm-hmm.
So family is always going to be there. I mean, you can go and follow your family tree. You can't follow your money. Once your money has gone out of your hands, you don't know where to go. But you can
Right.
always follow that family tree. So, I mean, yeah, I will always choose family over money any day.
And the reason I say that, man, is we see what's going on with Bud. and we see an overwhelming thing of where you see a lot of black men kind of being placed in that spot of being sexual deviants. What do you think about that?
Say that one more time.
I said you see a lot of black men being put in this place now where they're all considered to be sexual deviants, where they can't control themselves sexually, where anything that comes their way, they can't seem to turn it down. We see that with Shannon Sharp. We seen that recently with Terrence Crawford. I mean, I thought that was his wife all these years, but that was just his girlfriend. He never was married. So I mean, and you hear about him having another child. I just thought, to me, I just was shocked that that's the case. What do you think?
That
I mean, coming up as a young man, every boy, well, I ain't gonna say every boy, but most boys want to be considered a ladies' man. They want to be able to attract women. They want to be able to have their pick of who they decide they want to be their wife. And we see it more so on TV. It's glorifying people splitting up and getting it with another person. Like when I was coming up, you didn't see that many divorces being broadcast on the TV and in the news and in the papers and things like that. It's only like a major divorce, like we saw when Johnny Carson, he broke up with his wife, and the only reason why that made the news is because how much money she got from that divorce. So you didn't really get divorces like that on TV and in the news, but now they broadcasting that every time a celebrity get a divorce. Oh, this person just split up. Now he's dealing with this one. Now he's dealing with that one. So it's like everybody's sinning, and it's like that's the thing to do. We go see how many women you can get, how many women you can say you slept with, or things like that. And it just is it's brainwashing people to thinking that's the way you have to be instead of being a family man. They don't glorify the family man, so to speak. They more so glorify the ladies man. If you talking BBO, we can't hear you. What's up, Marky Dad?
was good, free.
And what you got on it?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think men have had harems, and I've had especially rich men and men of importance have had large harems and large groups of women and concubines. For their own pleasure. It's just recently, in the past maybe 1,000 years, that we have this thing of monogamy and Christianity, which teaches us about morals and teaches us to be, like I said, monogamous. Teaches us not to deal with foreplay, and that sex is meant only for creating children. Um, Now I do agree with Free. As we start, I think, to move past that a little bit, you see just the most awful people, I think, being glorified and being publicized, like these people on the Zeus network. These real ghetto women like Krishan Rock, like they're being raised up to be, or they're being raised up in the public eye to believe that this is how a woman behaves, and that this is how black people should react to certain situations. Me personally, I was raised up in a two-parent household. I had my mother, I had my father. They were very good to each other. They were not promiscuous at all. I personally, I have a son out of wedlock, but I'm gonna just say this, man. I I just believe you have a responsibility to your children and to your seed. Just take care of your kids. Whatever Shannon Sharp or Floyd Mayweather um or any of these rich dudes want to do in their private life, that's their business. But whatever comes out of that, just make sure you take care of your kids. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. Yeah, pretty much.
I think no matter how the situation,
BVO, your mic. Can you hear BVO?
Nah, I mean it was going in and out. It was cracking. It was cracking real bad. Yeah, I don't know if BBO's in a wrong spot or
Yeah.
what, but it was cracking real bad.
I will say though,
You guys hear me now?
I do
There you
think
go.
looking back, you
Okay.
should try. Yeah, you should try to have all your kids under one roof. I will say that I do think that that's proven that the nuclear family has proven to be the best system for rearing children and bringing them up in. If you want to produce a healthy minded individual.
Yeah, I think I agree with you both on that. My only thing was this, Mark, and I'll say this, man. Before I finish, I want to send a big rest in peace to Gina Janae Curry. She passed on today. I just want her family to know we love you and we praying for you. But it's just one of them things where in life, man, it's tough to make these decisions when you're talking about dating and how you want things to go because you never know what's what, and that's kind of how it's always been. But to kind of see Bud no longer be with his longtime girlfriend, it's kind of sad because it just shows us in that light of we can never see them keep a family together. But if Bill Gates if Bill Gates and Elon, what's the guy's name? Jeff Bezos can't keep a woman. We got no chance.
I mean, nah, I
I
mean
think
because you got
isn't Bill Gates still with his wife?
No.
no, no, no. He was. They was never married. They just lived together and had multiple kids, but they was never married. But the thing is, see like everybody looks at the rich and famous or the high celebrity and say, okay, yeah, that's how I want to live my life. I mean, we saw Will and Jada go through their ups and downs and whatever becomes of their marriage, it is what it is. But it's you can't look at another relationship and say this is how I want it to be. You got to build your relationship what's best for you because they have their own wants and needs and their own appeals that they like. You have your own. You can't go out and say, I got to get a wife. I got to get a wife like that, or I got to get a girl that looks like that. You got to get a woman that best fits you because when you're trying to go out here and get the prettiest woman or somebody that's making top dollar. A lot of times those don't work out because you're looking for the wrong thing. That's why it's always best to be friends first, date for a little while, and then get into a relationship because that way you get to know the individual and say, okay, yeah, this is somebody that I say is that can complete me. But when you're looking at somebody, and you just jump right into another relationship, 9 times out of 10, you ain't ready for that relationship. And that relationship is 9 times out of 10 is not going to work out because you don't even know anything about that person. You just jumping right into it. You got to be able
Facts.
to know what that person like to do, what they don't like to do, what that person like to eat, what they don't like to eat, what colors they like to wear, what colors they don't, if they like pets, if they don't, if they like children, if they don't. You don't know nothing about that, and then you jumping into a relationship and then realize this person don't have none of the values that you have, and then you wonder why it's not working out.
Nah,
Okay.
facts. And not only that, you don't leave yourself time to communicate on what you like. Literally communicate what you need and what's going on, cause and that's why it's best not to rush in, like you said, and to just talk for a little bit and to see what that person's doing because you could show me better than you can tell me. And a lot of times, at least now and today, I don't feel like a lot of people like to openly communicate about their wants and needs. So I'm somebody, and I know I'm a little bit too selfish right now to get married. Like I know that it's certain things I can't step out myself. I can't step outside myself with, like
Mm-hmm.
like so I'm trying to stay single and be to myself right now. So I totally get what you're saying, Free.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you have to have, especially if you just got out of a relationship, you need that time to yourself so you can reflect. You be able to reflect and see where it went wrong, why did it go wrong, and put together some values. What do you value? What do you don't care about? Because if you just jumping at the next pretty face or the next handsome dude, you're gonna jump into something that you wish you never jump into. That's the reason why you have so many women in these abusive relationship, because they don't realize that the dude is abusive because they just jump right into the
Yep.
relationship with him. They didn't get a
And you
chance
take a
to
step back to
know
look
who the
at to really
person was.
look at him and look how he moves.
Right. And so it's nothing wrong with being by yourself for a period of time throughout your life. Sometimes you might have to learn yourself, because a lot of times we forget who we are, because we so quick to please the next person. We forget how to please ourselves. What do I like to do? What do I want to do in my life? We so quick to just trying to please the next person, and you forget about yourself. So when you get out of that relationship, you jump right into another relationship. You give no time to yourself. Your next relationship is on pleasing that person, because you're trying to get that person. So you up trying to please that person instead of trying to please yourself. So sometimes you just need some time to yourself, whether it's a month or 2 months, whether it's just a week. You need some time to yourself to reflect and say, okay, let me get my life in order before I jump into another relationship, because I just came out of a long-term relationship, or I just came out of a bad relationship. Let me get my life in order, and let me reflect on what I feel is value to my life. Once I get that under control, then I can go out and date again and find somebody that fits the values that I believe is good for my life.
Right. And I
But
think
B3,
yeah, what's up, B3? I think BBO wanted to go more into the dynamic of Bud and his family, but I don't really know how he wanted to expound on that. But I knew him and that lady, they weren't married for years. That was public information. But
yeah.
yeah. I don't I
I,
thought
didn't-
he
I didn't I didn't know that neither. I thought they was married. I didn't know that either.
I think you remember when Hank Lundy and him were having that big dust up before they fight? I thought it was over her. At least that's what I heard.
Oh, oh no, I didn't know. I didn't even pay attention to it. I thought they was married. I mean, because I like I said, I don't get into personal people's lives. That's their lives. They gotta have some privacy to themselves. So I don't try to get involved in people's personal lives. Only thing I care about is what you doing in the boxing ring, or what you're doing on the football field or on a basketball court. That personal life is their personal. Now, if you're a menace to society, then yeah, I wanna know, so I know what to look out for. But if you just having a
Yeah, if you
argument with
boxing
your,
women.
yeah, you just having an argument with your woman, and it's just a regular old argument. I don't need to know about that. Everybody has arguments. We have arguments all the time. Me and my wife, we have arguments all the time. But it would never get to the point where I'm cursing her out and she cursing me out, and we not sleeping in the same bed. No, we have disagreements, and then we come to an understanding. Okay, this is what I believe. This is what I believe, and we agree to get a common ground, and then we move forward.
Yo,
What you got on the
B3.
B3?
Let's go with my brothers, man. Salute to the doghouse. And I mean, repeat the question, free. I heard y'all cooking a little bit. I'm over here
No,
just driving a
BBO
little bit.
BBO was asking. The first question that he asked was, what do you value more, family or money?
I'm gonna say family for me personally, and because I'm the type of guy that I'll give money away. I'll earn money, and I'll be a blessing to others. Money is just a means to an end. But family, you need a support system. It's very important in life to uh, keep solid people around you. But what you got to live by is kind of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So in a sense, when you building and cultivating relationships with family, you have to be selfless, and you definitely need to prioritize members of your family over thyself in certain situations, so that way you can kind of make sure that as an individual, as a part of the family, that you can be like a positive have a positive impact on others. So I 100% feel though that family is more important than money. Now, I mean, and money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you love. Money can't buy a lot of things. You know, I don't, and it definitely can't buy family.
Um, I'll say this. Money is not my number one priority, but it's definitely number two behind family. I'll say that. You need money to make sure that the world can stay up on its axis, to pay the bills, to make sure you got a roof over your head for the family, to make sure everybody is fed and clothed and everybody's taken care of. People need health insurance. You need insurance for your car and all that great stuff. Gas is getting more expensive, so I'll always pick family. I always choose my family because I have a very tight knit family. Because I already explained my situation, what happened with my sister, and I having to adopt her last son. This is her fourth son, but it's my first son that I adopted. So I'm always choose family if it comes down to it. But money is definitely high on my list of priorities. I could always use some money. BVO.
Oh, do your thing. Do your thing, man. I'm trying to get.
Oh,
I
my
got.
bad, my bad. I had stepped away for a minute, but I somewhat agree with you, Marky Dan. I got money a little bit further down. Like, my number one priority in my life is God, and then it's family,
Hmm.
and then it's money. Because even if you don't have family, you got to have that relationship with God, because that relationship with God will keep you sane, will make you feel like you have family around you when there is no family around. So that's my number one priority, and then it's family, and then it's money. Because like you said, yes, you do need to have money to survive in this world. For if you live in the society. Now, if you're living off the grid, you don't need money. You don't need money because you can have family, you can live off the grid and don't need money. You can have your own farm, you can have your own house, you can have everything that you need, electricity, water, all that. All you have to do is is build your own stuff. So you can live without having money and still survive, because people do it every day. There's thousands of people that don't have money and still survive every single day. So money is not that high. Yes, I love to have money, but it's not something that I'm gonna go out and do anything I gotta do to get it. No, it's not that high on my list. I'm a keep a job to make sure that I pay my bills that I have. But at some point, you're gonna have to go through those times in life, and everybody's went through it where you something happens, you lose your job. God forbid that anybody has to go through it right now, but at some point it will happen. It might not be any fault of your own. It might be the company went out of business. It might be somebody bought them out and they didn't bring you on as an employee or whatever have you. But it happens throughout life. And so at that short period of time, you don't have any money coming in, but you're still able to survive. So I mean, it's money is not that high on my thing. I've went many days without having a dollar in my pocket, and I was still fine. I still, a matter of fact, it's been plenty of times I've been on this live stream with y'all, and I didn't have a dime in my pocket. But my bills stayed paid, and I still was up here laughing and joking like wasn't no care in the world because I didn't care. If I have that mindset, I don't stress over things that I can't control. If something happened, I had to pay my bills, and it spent all the money in my bank account because I had to make sure my bills were straight. I'm cool with that. As long as I can get, well, I work from home, but as long as my wife can get back and forth to work, I'm cool. I ain't worried about it. I know money will come at the end of the week. I know money will come in 2 weeks for my job, at the end of the week for my wife's job. So I'm not stressed off of money like that. Some people are. Some people gotta have. They gotta have money. Their pocket gotta stay fat because they have an image to uphold. I don't have any image. The only image that I have is being a stand-up individual. That's the only image that I got. But
No, I hear that one thousand
go ahead.
percent, and I respect that.
Yeah. But so with this whole situation, do you feel like a lot of these celebrities choose money over family?
Um, yes, yes, a lot of them. Um, and just one example I could point to. We were talking about it the other day when we were having the discussion about trans women in sports. I just saw it the other day with that actress Megan Fox, where she had all of her little boys. All of them were under the age of 7, and she had them dressed up in little frilly dresses, had wigs on them, lipstick, and these little boys were crying, and she was dragging them to the park to be out in front of the cameras. So absolutely. Like I think people, I think celebrities do it all the time. I mean, we heard it with this Harvey Weinstein situation. Just looking at Hollywood, like you would literally have parents knowing the reputation that this man has, and they would deliver their teenage daughters to this dude. So it's no question that people of that class, particularly celebrities, they do choose money over their family. They make an entire industry out of it.
Um, and where did you think that mindset changed for them? Because I'm almost certain they didn't grow up like that. Where do you think that mindset changed for them to choose fame over their family?
I'm gonna say desperation. I think a lot of it comes down to desperation. I think a lot of people are not as secure in their financial situation, or like how you said, in their spiritual situation. So you can tempt them and you can offer them certain things, and they will fold. Okay, you could put a $500,000 in front of a man who's in the middle of bankruptcy, or who's underwater in debt, and he might give up something that you might never think he'd do. And in many cases, unfortunately, with these celebrities, it comes down to their kids,
Pause.
bro. And that's not. Well, yeah, pause. No Diddy, if I got the drop, I play it on that. No Diddy, no Diddy. But I was talking about the kids. Got go straight to LB3. But yeah, it's a whole industry off of that. Like I said, and I think a lot of it comes down to desperation.
What do you think about it, B3?
Well, I'm not going to say desperation. Uh, and I mean that might be an extreme term, Marky. On the fact that I'm a flip it in a sense that I always say bills don't stop, right? So people, so you buy nice things, you may want more nice things, you may be addicted to nice things, you may get to a certain level of status, you got to keep that status. So you got to keep up with the Joneses. And sometimes people going definitely prioritize making that money, as a family, to put their family in a better position. And so it may get carried away. The priorities definitely change. Instead of going to church on Sundays, you might just be watching church. And go from watching church not to going to church at all. And it would go from never telling I never work a Sunday to you working on Sunday. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, it's just, I think it comes down to the like what your priorities are ultimately. And then of course, always understanding that your bills don't stop. And some people just have a certain type of mentality where if they want to, they're overachievers. They want to be on top, they want to win. So if they can get little Billy and little Jimmy, with Gerber and doing commercials and stuff like that, to say, hey, my kids got this first star, look at them, they're Gerber babies. That's like a plus. And then ultimately, they might, it'll go from there. But it's just like you're saying, every family unit is different. Every family's gonna prioritize different things. But money shouldn't be the end all be all, but it is definitely a driving force.
Yeah, I think I have a little bit different take, and I believe both of y'all are 100% spot on. But I think I have a little bit different take on it. I think it's more so they have an addiction, and they have an addiction to the fame, and they're willing to do anything to stay famous. It's almost the same thing with a drug addict or alcoholic. They do whatever they got to do to make sure they get that next fix. And I think it's the same thing with the celebrities. For a lot of them, I'm not gonna say all of them, but for a lot of them, they're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure they get famous or they stay famous. Whether it's they gotta leave their friends or they gotta leave their family, they're willing to do whatever it is to stay famous or get famous. It's a bad addiction because it's no better than being addicted to drugs or alcohol because once you have an addiction, it's hard to knock it off. It is the same thing with like cigarettes. Cigarettes, I think, is the biggest addiction in the world. I mean, at least for the United States, at least for the United States, it's the biggest addiction. It's bigger than any other drug or any other drink. And when you have that addiction, you don't know how to stop it. And when you become famous, you're so used to being on the top, pause, that you don't know how to be a regular person anymore. You so used to your name being in that spotlight that you don't want nobody to see you as a regular person because it looked like you failed. When in all actuality, you didn't fail. You just not doing movies no more. You just not singing anymore or rapping or whatever have you. You're just not doing that no more. It doesn't mean that you failed. You're just not doing it no more. You found a new way in life. So it just people don't know how to grasp reality. They so stuck in a bubble that they don't know how to grasp reality. And
100%.
reality hits everybody. Reality hits everybody. Some people it hit them harder than others, but it hits everybody. At some point, all of these celebrities that we see on the top level, at some point they're gonna come down off that top level. They're gonna come back down to
Yes,
earth. It is the same. Is that the old saying goes? The same people that you see going up is going to be the same people you see coming back down. So you got to understand that yeah, you're going to be on top for a period of time, but at some point you're going to come off that high horse. You're going to come off being the number one celebrity or the number one actress or actor or comedian or singer or rapper, whoever it is. You're not gonna be number one forever. At some point, you're not gonna be number one. So you gotta understand that yeah, you got that moment now, but you have to be humble enough to know at any given time I can be knocked off that spot. And I don't think people understand that, and they so captivated with the attraction of the people that they do anything for it. What's
Yeah, I
going on,
think a
Ohio?
lot of those. Yeah, I think a lot of those people don't understand that. And I'm very young saying this, but life is about peaks and valleys. I mean, just talking about a great boxer who I was just watching the other day, Kid Gavilan, made all this money, bought a big piece of land in Cuba, and he was on top. Then the communists came in. They built a fence around his house and said that the rest of his land belonged to them. And then they kicked him off the house, and he had to spend the rest of his days in a Miami project. But his spirit was not destroyed because he understood that that's just how life is sometimes, and he can appreciate the fact that he had his glory days when he was on top. And if I got and it don't really matter if I got my family and if I got a roof over my head, I'm gonna be good regardless. But some of those people in the spotlight, like that lady who I mentioned, Megan Fox, it's gonna kill them when nobody really gives a damn about them, or nobody's checking up on them, or their name is not in the spotlight like that. So, and that's one of the things I agree with you on B3 on. It's an addiction to people like that, and some people really can't sustain it. That's why you see them do or I don't even know if I want to get into to that side of it, but you see them do some horrible things to get out there and become viral. So I agree 1,000%. I think it's a sickness and it's an addiction to a lot of those people.
Yeah, and then, I mean, and to bring it back to boxing a little bit, because I know this wasn't a boxing topic that BBO had, but just to bring it back to boxing a little bit, we see it in the boxing industry. A lot of these guys do what they got to do to stay number one, and it sometimes they might not take the fight that you want to see them fight, because the people behind the scenes say, hey, you got to do what we want you to do if you plan on staying in this spotlight. And that's the part of boxing that a lot of the fans don't get to see. Like, they're attraction, but these guys are attraction because the promoter buy into them. Once these promoters don't buy into these fighters, they can still be good fighters, but if those promoters are not buying into them, they're not going to be as hot as these other fighters. Like, you can take a Abdullah Mason and you can make him the number one fighter. If he doesn't have, if Tank Davis don't have the promotion company behind him, yeah, Tank Davis is still a good fighter, but everybody's going to be attracted to Abdullah Mason because he has the machine behind him. And so a lot of times these fighters do what these promoters say because they want to stay at a certain level in the sport of boxing, or they want to get to a certain level in the sport of boxing. So they do what the promoters say. A lot of times they'll go against what they really want to do because the promoter is saying, hey, if you want to get here, I need you to do this, and then we'll make sure you get this. And so they'll do that. Oh, my, this joint fell off. But yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people throw away family for a couple of $1,000s. Literally, a couple of $1,000s. They threw away their entire family for a couple of $1,000s because of the simple fact that somebody promised them $10,000. If you go do this, you can get $10,000. Like, I give you a perfect example. Um, these guys that we've seen on the news with that's been in trouble in the court system as of late. If you paid attention to, and I'm not going to speak on the actual trial, but if you pay attention to everybody's names that they've been naming, a lot of them people had family before they got hooked up into that situation, and now they don't have that family no more. It's because they wanted that spotlight. And so they threw away their family. And then you got some people on the lower level, far as like the whole Nipsey Hussle situation. That man got paid to do what he did. He got paid to do what he did, and it was for a couple of $1,000s. And now he has his family at home, and he's serving time in jail, serving a life sentence in jail for a few $1,000s. So people do anything for money. They do the craziest thing for money, and that's why they said the money is the root of all evil. Well, the love of money is the root of all evil. Because once you fall in love with money, you're willing to do whatever you got to do to get it. That's why it doesn't matter to me. I love to have money, but I'm not willing to do whatever I got to do to get it, because I'm not gonna sell my soul for some money. For no amount of money am I gonna sell my soul. But you have some people that will do it. What's going on? What's going on, Ohio? What's going on, Thomas? What you got on the Marky?
I mean, nah, it goes back into what you're talking about when you talk about having a strong relationship with God, because it's certain things that you can't offer me that I would ever accept. Like, you can't you can't make me give up my son. You can't make me give up really no family. Like, and I think when you talked about Diddy and or excuse me, you didn't say the specific name, and you said that for a reason. But when you talked about that person and their trial and the people that were around them, I think that that's a part of what the devil wants. He wants you to be isolated and away from your family because your family is who is really your genesis. That's who you started with. That's who God put in your life and gave to you. And you hear people such as Mike Tyson, who what did he say? You leave with the people you came with, and he regret that stuff to the day to well I mean he was able to bounce back later, but he regretted that stuff for a long time. The fact that he left Kevin Rooney and went with Don King and them, and it took him down a dark path of women, drugs, jail time, violence, all that stuff. So I agree with you. I think I think overall, me personally, I'ma just stick to what my mother and my father told me, which was to educate myself, and make sure that I can never be in a position where somebody can offer me something that would make me betray my family. I would never do it anyway, but to always be in a
I'm
position where I can sustain myself. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm glad.
Like,
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking about it when BBO had asked this question a couple of days ago about all of these guys and we were talking about the transgender and things like that. I was thinking about it later on that night, and you just brought it up again, and it made me think about it. We're living in the same times of Sodom and Gomorrah. That was the reason why God destroyed that city is because they was doing some of the same things that's going on right now. They was laying down with the same sex. They was partying. They was drinking. They was drugging, doing all these type of things. And God told Solomon that he was going to destroy that city. And he said, "Get your family and leave, and don't look back." And that's exactly what is going on right now. Is these people are living the same type of lifestyle that they was living back in that time. And if you all you got to do is just look at it. If you ever read the Bible and you read about the story when it said the woman turned into a pillar of salt, read that whole book, and you'll understand we're living in that same time frame. People are doing the same thing that they was doing then, and it's just a wicked time. And it's all because people want the fame, they want the money, they want to be popular. Nobody want to be a regular person anymore. Everybody want to be the superstar. Everybody want to be the known person in the neighborhood or the known person at their job. Nobody wants to be a person that's known for being the right person or being a family man or being a stand-up individual. They want to be known for other stuff. Oh, he got the most money, or he got all of the beautiful women, or he got all of the nice cars, he got the biggest house. They want to be
or if
known
they
for the
or if
wrong
they
stuff.
do nice stuff, it has to have a camera in front of it, and they have to be
Right,
able to broadcast it to millions of people at the same time. So that stuff
right.
isn't even authentic to me anymore.
No, I mean, I was never. I mean, it never really did anything to me. Yeah, it was cool to see every once in a while when it first came out, when people was first doing it. Now it's like everybody doing it. And I'm like, all right, now it's just old. It's just old because when it's like when the first pair of Jordans come out, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get those pair of Jordans, and then you see everybody in the neighborhood with them Jordans. You like, man, I don't even want them joints no more. Everybody got them. I don't want like that's how I
Well,
was when I came up.
that's facts.
That's how I was
Always
when
want
I
to
came up.
separate.
Right. I wanna be different. I don't wanna be like everybody else. Like I wanna be the either let me get them first or let me get something that I don't see everybody wearing. Because if you got the same thing that everybody else got on, what makes you stand out? You got the same thing everybody else got on. How am I looking at you any different than
Real
I'm
talk.
looking at another dude down the street?
So,
So
salute to the family.
I never want to
Thomas
do that.
from
Go
the
ahead.
Bronx. Also, Ohio runs boxing, man. Shout out to everybody. I'm not sure how many pages we streaming on right now, man, but salute to everybody that's rocking out with us.
But yeah, I never wanted to be like everybody else. I always wanted to be me. I wanted to be different from everybody else. Like if you see me 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see anybody got the same outfit I got on. You might not even see nobody with the same shoes I got on because I'm always be me. I'm gonna do something different than everybody else doing. So it just I can never be like everybody else because it nothing makes you stand out. I wanted to stand out from everybody else. Like while everybody else was out there playing football, I was on the track team. When everybody joined the track team, I went to go play football. I was not trying to do what everybody else was doing. I wanted to be different. I was like, man, I'm one of the only dudes from my neighborhood, literally one of the only dudes from my neighborhood that played football, basketball, ran track, and everybody else they even basketball, do all of them. Like when I was wrestling, when let alone my neighborhood, nobody in my city that was wrestling. I was wrestling in a squad that had a bunch of white boys. There was a bunch of white boys that was wrestling, and we ain't had no white boys around where I lived at. Like I was the only black dude. You might have seen a Spanish dude and an Asian dude, but I was the only black dude that was wrestling on my wrestling team because I wanted to be different. Everybody else was doing they was playing football or basketball. I was like, man, I'm gonna do something different. Let me go wrestle. I want to stand out, and I became a state champion in wrestling because I was the only black dude wrestling, and I was good at it. But yeah, I mean, sometimes
At
you
what
gotta
weight, free?
understand. Well, when I wrestled, I was small in school, so I wrestled at 123 pounds. Actually, it was 119,
Mm.
but I weighed 123, so they made me lose weight because when I was in school, my freshman year, I was only like 5'5". I was like 5'5", 130 pounds,
Oh, you're welcome.
123
You're
pounds.
welcome.
So I lost weight, but then when I played football, I had to gain weight to play football. So I got up to like 150, 160 pounds playing football because I played middle linebacker my freshman year of high school. So I fluctuated in weight my whole freshman year. I went from weighing 160 to weighing 119 pounds.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a
so,
big jump.
but yeah, because I wrestled first, and then when I went to go play football, I had to put on weight because they put me as a middle linebacker because I was stocky, but I was short. I was only like 5'5", maybe 5'7", but I played on the JV and the JV team. They saw how fast I was, so they made me a free safety. And so when I played free safety, the varsity coach saw me. He was like, "Hold up, let's move him to varsity. This dude is good." So I played varsity half of
Billy, what up?
freshman year, and then the rest of my high school career, I played varsity football. Well, BBO, you good? Nah, he ain't good yet because we can't hear you. But yes, you going in and out.
BVO.
BBO, what you think makes them addicted to the money, man, or the fame? What makes them addicted to the fame?
Say it one more time.
I said, what makes these celebrities addicted to the fame and the money?
Um, I think the everybody wants to be somebody. When you get a chance to have notoriety for sports or something that you love to do, I think it just adds to that, and that's kind of what you get. He said, "I stay with a two move mic." You're a wild boy, man. But I don't know. I'll tell you this though. I've noticed that people will tear their whole family apart just to have fame. When I seen Bud Crawford talking so nonchalant about not having his family anymore, I thought that was crazy. What about you guys? What you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's
Can
absolutely
you
crazy.
quote it? Can you quote him just quickly?
Basically, he was on with Shannon Sharp as a clip, and he said, I told my girlfriend that I got a baby on the way, and I think he has this will be a seventh child, and he said I'm just a man, which I understand, but I guess it's funny that as soon as Bud Crawford started making some real money, the first chance he gets, you see what happens, man. It sucks, man. What you think about it, three?
Is it a white woman?
I don't know what it was. I mean, I don't know. You
Nah, I'm
know,
just messing around, man.
No, I mean,
I
go ahead, B3, go ahead, B3.
no, no. All I was gonna say is, man, it's unfortunate that Crawford done had a lot of money for a lot of years. I don't want to say just to make it seem like now that after he didn't got with Turkey, he didn't he left his black woman and the mother of his kids, and he started moving around a little bit. So the way Crawford tell it, he's never been married. So at the end of the day, Crawford gonna handle his business as a man, and we gotta respect it. Now, I mean, Crawford ain't the only guy out here having kids, sowing his oats or whatever you want to call it. So that's life, man. Guys gonna get it in.
Yeah, I just find it crazy that you've been with this woman all this time, and she's been through the downtime, and some of the good time, and then all of a sudden you just say, you know what, I'm done. I see that way too much when it comes to these celebrities. Once
hmm
they get to a certain level, it's like, okay, she served her purpose. Now let me go get one of these celebrity women, or let me go get one of these other women that's more acceptable. And that's what it seems like. It seems like, okay, she was good for when I was regular old Crawford, but now that I'm a celebrity, I need to go get somebody else that's more appealing to the celebrity lifestyle. And I don't like, and it could be some other stuff behind it. It might not be cut and dry like that. They could have had a disagreement and they just fell apart. But it just it seemed like he's been with her since he got into the sport of boxing. Far as I know, he's been with her since he got into the sport of boxing. And it's like, now you throwing it away now.
Yeah, I mean, but money does make women act a certain way because famously you heard Floyd when him and Corey Holcomb met up and he said, "This is my fiance and this is my girl." So that money can make people act different. So I don't know. I really don't know. Um, it's just sad because every time it comes to a black man, it's always got to be some sexual deviant stuff going on. Always, I don't get it. Whether it's
I mean,
Shannon
I
Sharp talking to some little thin rail girl. You
I
see the go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know if you heard, because you wasn't up here, but I was saying when you was talking about it the other day, it made
Hmm.
me think about something that I didn't think about while we was live. But
Yeah,
these times that we're living in is the times of Sodom and Gomorrah, and this is the same thing when God decided to destroy that city, is because of the some of the same stuff that's going on right now. They sleeping with the same sex. They drinking. They drugging. They partying. This is the same stuff that's going on right now. And it's getting even crazier now. Like the more the days goes on, the crazier it gets.
yeah.
A hundred
You hit it
percent.
right on the
Thank
head,
God a
brother.
brother
Three.
like Crawford, is still, operating on the same team and, dealing with beautiful women. Cause like you saying, free, it's a lot.
That's a fact.
It's a lot. It could be worse. You know what I'm
That's a fact.
saying?
That's a fact.
I
Uh,
mean, I mean, personally, respect. Even if he was, I wouldn't care. Like me personally,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
I hate.
you a Democrat, Mark. So of course you don't care about a man being heterosexual, man. You're
Yeah,
a
I mean,
Democrat.
what you do in your bedroom is not my business. I'm not a fascist. I don't believe in inspecting people's bedrooms or getting in their business like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just me. But whatever you brothers like to do in your spare time, I mean, that's you.
You know,
Wasn't Marky the same brother said that they be running homosexuals out of the islands and they'll chase them with like,
yeah,
sugar cane and
yeah, he did say that. But
Nah, that's
Marky's a
when you
hypocrite,
that's
man.
when you
This is
mess with
nothing
the
new.
kids. That's when you mess with the kids.
Hold on,
That's
that's
what I
Marky
say.
though. He's a hypocrite. It's been that way.
Nah, I have a very gay sister. I don't care
Fine,
about
she
that type of
fine too,
stuff.
man. She fine too.
Well, you can go straight to hell. How about that? But like I was saying, I don't, I hear what Free is saying. And I have a different interpretation on Sodom and Gomorrah, even though I do agree, like those people are out of order. Like I'm not gonna go in depth with all that crap, but I do agree that we are living in some serious times where it seems like people such as Bud Crawford, and I agree. I mean, I think he did that woman very bad. I mean, she went through everything with him from the time before he beat what's his name Prescott, well, that's the dude who Bud beat for to get that shot at
Yeah.
yeah,
hold
but
on, hold on,
it
hold
was
on, Marky.
Greatest Prescott, I think it was.
How did he do her bad though? Who said he didn't kick her out of the house and not feed her, not provide for her? He just being a man. I mean, he's just living his own
I
life. He's
mean,
not
she got
married.
how many kids she got for him? Like what,
I mean, that's
four
what
or
I'm saying.
seven?
I mean, what's the alternative? You know what I'm saying? It's women out here without Bud Crawford kids, 6, 7 kids by 6, 7
I mean,
different guys or whatever
if
the
that was
case may
my
be.
sister, I would expect. And
Come on,
again,
man.
because if it was my sister, and again, I wouldn't be up in her business like that. But I would expect the dude to marry her at
100%.
some point
Exactly.
if he got
You will
four
want,
to
and you will
seven kids
want,
with him.
you will want you
and
to
see
that.
that.
Hold on, let me just say this, Beaver,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. That's a traditional mentality, and I could definitely understand where you're coming from. But like you saying, every grown person is gonna make their own decision. So he never held her hostage. She knew what she was doing when she was having all these babies, and she knew she ain't been married all this time. So we can't try to play victim on that side.
I'll say this though, man. That's a betrayal to the highest order. We talk about it on the men's side, but on the woman's side, that's betrayal. Um, no matter how you put it, man, nobody's perfect, but you can't have you can't have babies on your wife, man. You can't do that. That's too disrespectful. That's wrong. And I just say this about Bud. I think he's a terrific brother, but I think he made a mistake with this because they don't make good women like his girlfriend every day. They just don't. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. You'll get out there, you'll think you're doing something, and you're really gonna only eat what's in the fishbowl. I
I
mean, and
mean,
then you'll have Democrats like Marky Dan who will encourage you to go to the other side. So you got to be careful, man. It's a dangerous world out here, man. It's a dangerous world.
it's funny that we live in a time where being able to have 6 kids just means you're a good person. Like we don't know your personality, we don't know anything about you, but the fact that you can have those kids, we know what else you provide in a relationship, or if you meant to be a wife. If she was wife material, you know, but would have married her. But
Well,
he
that's a
he
fact.
made the choice.
That's
He
a
made the
fact.
choices that he made. So
That's a fact, bro. It's
Um.
just sad, man, because you got guys like out there like Mark, man, who don't want to see a traditional family together. And you just kind of feed them to that propaganda, and it just sucks, man. That's all. It sucks for the culture, so to speak. The culture can't be all about change and BS. It's got to be about something real, like taking care of your family, being a good father, providing a way. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to this thing. It's not just about having kids and having sex, man. It's really about being somebody that your children can look up to. I mean, I don't think he want nobody to do his daughters that way, but that's the world we live in, man. If Terrence Crawford, and that's the thing, you only hear about this with black stars, man, where it's always some sexual stuff going where they can't control themselves. It's crazy. It's
now
crazy.
this is my now you know what my question got to be, because y'all remember my story from the other day where my friend The first time she had slept with a new dude or whatever, and then they was out of town. He didn't got her pregnant first time. So was this? Do y'all think this was like? Is this like Crawford just on some first time? Like he just blessed the shorty with a baby. Like is that just what happened here, or does he have a new shorty?
Man, it's just it sound like the first thing.
Here, it's not.
He
It's
he
not the first time. It's not the first time. I mean, you got to understand when because he had a baby by her, and I don't think that Crawford is a stupid individual for him
Okay.
to have a baby by. That means he went there and he went raw dog. You're
Right.
not for the most part. Most of these brothers, like I said, I believe he's a smart individual. I don't think he's going to go raw dog for the first time, especially if he's sneaking out. If you're sneaking out, you know there's a possibility that somebody could pop up pregnant, so you're not going to go raw dog. This is not the first time that he slept with this young lady that he's having a baby by. This is something that he's built a relationship with, and he decided to have a baby with her. So, nah, I don't believe it was the first time.
BVO is funny that I had a friend that I had a friend. He had met a shorty, met a young lady, and they was enjoying each other, whatever, having a good time. And she told him that she couldn't get pregnant. So he believed her, and he was he shot the club up or whatever.
yeah.
Would you ever take a face value word, or do you feel like there should be more deliberation before you just?
Well, one me,
No,
I'm gonna
I,
be honest with you, man. I'm gonna tell you some real truth, man. Most guys in my age group have never really used condoms, and that's just a fact. Bud Crawford's just a little older than me. I highly doubt that Bud Crawford was using condoms. I highly doubt it. That's not something that normally happens. Let's just be honest here. Guys around 30 to 38, none of those guys use condoms, man, because it was always you had that a thought that like them 90s guys told us, if she clean, she cool. So I can't speak for a lot of guys, but I know a lot of guys my age that hardly ever use condoms.
I'm gonna tell you like this: the baby is not the problem that I will be worried
They
about.
some nasty ass people. You.
I'm gonna tell you like this: the baby is not the problem that I will be worried about. The
Right.
baby that's a blessing. That's not what I will be worried about. I will be worried about, am I gonna catch something? Because there's a lot of things that you can catch,
Yeah,
and
that no, I agree with that, Free. I'm just saying I've always known guys around my age to never really use condoms. I mean, not
no,
many
I know, I
people.
know, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying back to what B3 said. I'm not taking. I mean, even if she can't have kids, that don't mean you ain't got no disease. You
Yeah,
can't have kids, but you can have something else. You can
somebody
definitely
somebody
deliver.
got some music, man. Can somebody hit
Oh,
that
my
music?
bad. That's me.
Okay.
That's me. My bad. But yeah, you can definitely deliver something else. You might not deliver no kids, but you can deliver something else. And I ain't taking that chance at all.
Hey, I get what you're
I'm gonna
saying,
be.
Free, but
I believe in what BVO was saying is that with Crawford, like you 100% right, free. That is, but that's more so when you're dealing with those swamp rats that that grow up around BVO.
get out of here.
Crawford Crawford is dealing with, I'm sure, like the most high end white woman that money can afford. So I don't think you got to worry about STDs. I'm sure that brother gonna be okay.
I just think at the end of the day, man, it's
If
just
you
if
if you believe that, you tripping. If you believe that, you gonna catch something for sure. If you believe that, you gonna catch something for sure.
I think that might be the case now, Free, but that wasn't always the case, man. Like I know a lot of guys that just never used protection because it just was never on their mind. And the woman, and the problem is a lot of people from my generation watch too much pornographic films. And when you watch those pornographic films, it sways you to think something that it's not, because most people don't understand that that's not real. So you got guys I know who run up in chicks talking like talking like Wesley Pipes, talking crazy, trying to sound cool. There was a guy named B Pumper. He became a whole star to a lot of guys. He wasn't no good rapper, It's because he was in there dancing, smashing eggs on girls' heads. I mean, I can only speak for my generation. I've seen a lot of dudes just and then don't let a woman be any type of looking decent. A dude definitely gonna shoot the club up. Just
Yeah, yeah.
kind of how
My
it
my
goes.
my thing is you cannot, and what Free said is completely true. You can't identify an STD or an STI with your eyes. You that you 100% out of 100 gonna fail.
Oh,
So
that's a fact.
my
That's a
thing
fact.
is, yeah, my thing is if I don't know for a fact that I'm not that the two of us are not exclusive with each other, I'm gonna use protection unless I have clear communication that me and you are only exclusive with one another. That's the only time I'm pulling off that I wouldn't use a strap because I seen dudes catch stuff and they didn't even have to have sex. Like I know a dude that got what you call that a herpes blister literally on his cheek because a girl
Hmm.
kissed him and he didn't know nothing about this girl. So I like that stuff about oh just because she a high end white woman that don't mean nothing.
I don't think the woman's white, man. I don't think the woman's white.
She could be high end, she could be low end, she could carry something.
Hold on. Pittsburgh T, you a swine. I can't believe you said that. Um, I can't believe you said that, bro. I mean, I'm gonna drop the link for that. That's we about to end the show till you said that. That's crazy. I definitely.
Oh man, don't bring up MLK. Come on now. You know, BVO. You know they're gonna release the MLK tapes. All those orgy tapes of him in 2027. It's been approved by a court, so they're gonna release all those FBI tapes they had recorded of Martin Luther King doing freaky stuff. Silence.
What? What the heck are you
Yeah,
talking about, Marky?
you didn't know about that? J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI they were bugging up Martin Luther King's hotel rooms. And they got all these tapes of him basically doing freaky sex parties. And it's real. Like it's real. They're gonna release it in 2027.
Man, they be exaggerating. Man, when it comes to blacks, people just exaggerate. Like a
Nah,
Oh,
brother,
B3.
a
B3.
brother can have a night
Nah.
out
hold
with
on.
two shorties, come back to the crib, sleep with him, and then they say he had a sex party
B3.
under the street.
No,
Hold on.
B3. It
This is what I
wasn't
want to
just
know.
once.
This,
And
this
the,
is what
some of
I
the
want to
stuff
know.
from the transcripts, nah,
But
Martin Luther King was
but
a freak boy. He was a freak
but hold
master,
up. But hold
respectfully.
up. This is what I want to know.
Martin
If
Luther
that
King was
is
a saint.
if that is true, if that is true, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. If it is true, why are they waiting till 2027? What's wrong with coming out with it now?
They well, from what I understand, they sent J. Edgar Hoover sent Martin Luther King basically a suicide letter telling him to commit suicide. And I don't know, they just didn't release it. But court they have officially said that it will be released in 2027. So I'm looking out for it.
Why do a court gotta say anything about it?
I don't know. This stuff was sealed for years. Like
What
and
what
they
they do
said
is a lot
Lyndon
of the stuff.
Johnson.
A
Go
lot of the
ahead, go ahead.
stuff is redacted. A lot of the stuff is redacted. So what they have to do is try to unredact it, if that makes any sense, and put out the information the best they can. Because if you look at the JFK stuff, a lot of that stuff's redacted. It was like old stuff. It's a lot of stuff they hide, and when they hiding something, it's a lot of stuff they want to go through and take out and put in. It's kind of weird, but
But
that's
they
kind.
saying that the tapes themselves are going to be released. So
Well,
we're going to hear
I
it
mean,
directly from the horse's mouth.
me personally, I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't put anything past anybody. It very well could be true. I don't put anything past anybody because everybody is subject to make a mistake in their life. So I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm not saying that he did, but I'm not saying that he didn't either.
But I'm for that. My whole point is this: like, why can't that be one of the things that is kept that the president may have know about, like the incoming presidents and things like that? Some secret. Like, why does that have to be released
Because
to the public? They trying to. What they do is they want they. It's like a crippling. Like they trying to cripple an image. You know, they
Well,
don't. We don't. I don't. Nobody needs to know about like Marky was saying earlier. You don't care what happens with the personal, what happens in the man's personal life when it happened in his bedroom, right? But now when it comes to Martin Luther King, it's on your mind. It's news. It's like,
well,
come on, man.
they
It's
were
nasty.
trying. They wanted to destroy Martin Luther King because they thought he had ties to communism. But I don't know. Like I think it's good that some of this information is coming out. Like for years, we didn't know about the FBI's connection to Fred Hampton's assassination
They never
until they
thought he was a communist, man. They never thought that. J. Edgar Hoover knew
no, but
that
he
was a lie.
had ties to there's literally a tape of JFK saying, "I want to bring King to the White House, but he's as popular as Marx." He's talking about Lennox Marx
Yeah,
or Leninist Marx. So he's comparing him to a communist in that sense. They saying that's when J. Edgar Hoover started surveilling Martin Luther King.
but if you
It's all because
remember,
of
Lennox
communism.
Marx was never a communist. That didn't happen until after he died.
Well, no, but the Marxism, it was the birth of communism in a
But that's
sense.
not what he was trying to create.
No, but BVO, if you're gonna move a bunch of peasants from the fields and try to industrialize them, you have to use force, and that's what communism came down to. Marx just did not think about that part of it. So eventually, Marxism became communism, which is just government enforced industrialism, which led to widespread death. But the whole point of it, Martin Luther King, they thought he was a socialist if at the very least he wasn't a communist, which would have led to communism. And they wanted to get him the hell up out of here. Same thing with Malcolm X, same thing with Fred Hampton. They did not want no black messiahs. And they were gonna use those tapes to destroy Martin Luther King. But I don't know why it was never released, but we got way off
Because
topic.
Coretta never put him out. They sent him to Coretta's doorstep. She never put him out.
Well, it's gonna be released in 2027.
You
We
know
know
what's
that
funny?
now.
Martin's dead, Coretta's dead, and people still care about what he did in his bedroom. That's crazy.
I mean, if Jesus type had a freak off tape, I think people would wanna have it published, BBO. And that's really the world we live in,
Because
for
y'all,
better
y'all,
or for worse.
a lot of people, y'all are disgusting, man. A lot of people lack God. They definitely not reading the word. That's sick. That's sickening. Like you saying, like you supposed to pray for your brother. You know, if he has shortcomings, not kind of put him on Front Street and show the world. Like we live in a nasty society, man. This culture is disgusting.
No doubt. But
Well
hey,
said. But we're gonna be back at 4 in the morning to cover Storm and Norman, the Rush Sushi Roll.
That's 5.5 hours. With Dub at, we should just roll into it.
Uh, we
uh,
could, but BBO
nah,
got
I
to.
think I
Nah, we
think we
gotta
should
get some
start
rest.
back at 4 o'clock.
We'll be back
Yeah.
at 4, man. So we'll see y'all.
Mhm.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.